Previously on Alonso's way. Okay, so revving up to 5 red lights here at Austin. It's 5 lights out and away we go at a pretty decent start, going up through the gears into 3rd, into 4th, up into 5th gear and going to top the hill. Obviously the two Mercedes are up front, but we're going to have to watch out for Vettel, who's going trying down our inside. Managed to hold him off going around the outside. Raikkonen's managed to snatch 4th from his teammate. So he was still behind Rosberg. We were trying to look for a move down the inside, but that's to no avail. Immediately you can tell that the Mercedes are much better in the corners than ourselves, and Rosberg slows down significantly there. No idea why. Moving on to lap 10, you'll notice if you check the mini-map, that dot that's slowing down, that's Hamilton. I don't know what happened. I think he might have ERS failure, but coming through the last corner, we're going to cruise home to our 6th win of the season in style in America in our McLaren-Honda.
Welcome to Mexico, where we start the weekend with Friday practice. This session will give us a good indication of just who has the upper hand for qualifying tomorrow. This is the first race to be held here since way back in 1992, when a certain Nigel Mansell won the world title. The drivers will have definitely put in some test laps on the simulators before they complete a lap for real here in Mexico. But they'll still need to get a feel for the real circuit versus their fancy video game back at HQ.
Well, don't be so quick to knock the advantages the simulators can give you. Years ago, you had to learn everything at the track, but now you can get comfortable with the circuit and learn what to expect long before you even turn a wheel.
Well, it's all over the back pages that Ferrari are talking to Nico Hülkenberg's agents about their man replacing Kimi Raikkonen at the Scuderia next season. Can you see that happening?
He's always done a great job wherever he's gone, and we've been expecting him to get a drive at one of the top teams now for a few seasons. He certainly deserves his chance, and it would be interesting to see what he could do with a better car.
Hey guys, I'm Viper and welcome back to Alonso's Way. This is episode 17 and we're at Mexico at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit. It's quite a mouthful to say unless you're Mexican and you pronounce it properly, I reckon. But today's race is going to be one to remember for sure. As today we'll find out whether Alonso will win the championship at this event, or that the points deficit between ourselves and Vettel, who's in 2nd, will be lower, so it'll be enough to take the title to Brazil, where hopefully Alonso can win it there. But I would say is the race where we find that out. Does he win it here, or does he win it in Brazil, or does it carry over, that sort of thing. Anyway, no spoilers ahead, so don't worry. Obviously you'll find out by the end of this episode who's won or whatever, you know, who's won the race and if Alonso's taking the championship to the next race and whatever. But as per usual, you join us in practice, and like I said, obviously Alonso needs to be on top of his game with the kind of a cheeky corner cut there. But Mexico's kind of known for it. The track boundaries are quite difficult to get right in my opinion, so track extending, corner cutting, there's a lot of things with this circuit that's quite easy to do. Monza's not that sort of problem, but even though I reckon it's got a shape that's similar to Monza, except obviously this one's got a lot more corners than Monza has. However, with the way the track's laid out, it's a pretty decent track. I actually like Mexico, it's not that bad. As we come across the line to 1:21.738, and luckily on the next lap we actually go quicker. As you can see, we've caught right to behind Valtteri Bottas, but yeah, as we come across the line, it's going to be a 1:21.360. So that's all from practice. You'll now join us down in qualifying with the commentators.
Welcome back to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit, where qualifying will begin shortly. Today's qualifying should be an interesting affair as the drivers try to put in their best laps on this fascinating circuit.
It's difficult to predict who's going to master this circuit when it really matters. This 4.4 kilometre track will certainly provide a mix of challenges to both the drivers and their cars. I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to come out on top.
Okay, so it's qualifying time for the Mexican Grand Prix, and let's just hope we can get a decent start for the race, you know, a decent position on the grid as we open the DRS. We actually forgot, and the moment we crossed the line, I actually forgot to open the DRS for a few seconds. So, but you know, like I said, straight line speed is what really holds us back. Now, in practice, when we had the lap when we got the lap in that we did, that's because we was using, I think it was Bottas' slipstream. Or some other car's slipstream. But that first sector there, you'll notice that we completely breeze into the lead. That's because for some odd reason that we're actually able to, we're a lot quicker than the AI. I don't know if that's whether the AI are what's, you know, a bit tentative, you know, sensitive, sensitive, you know, to the first corner, first few corners, should I say, because it's actually about 3 or 4 turns. But them sort of corners, the AI, they're like mild, you know, they're well laid back off it, but for most of the other corners they're a bit more aggressive. And one in particular, as we come through the end of sector 2, right down at the end of this next bit of the straight here, it's a sharp right turn, but I actually find it a really good corner to do like a few overtakes on the AI. It actually proved to be a pretty useful corner in the race. However, this last, I think it's stadium section, in the last sector, I'm not exactly fond of it, and the last corner I always go wide on, so you know, just a couple of hints. Just come across the line for pole position, the 120.3, that's a second faster than what we did in practice, in a McLaren as well. It's staggering really. Alonso obviously happy, but he knows he needs to keep this if he wants to win the championship at Mexico. That's if he can. I'll enjoy to the commentators.
What a wonderful performance then from Fernando Alonso, who put in the fastest lap time of the qualifying session to be on pole for tomorrow's race.
We certainly appreciate how good a qualifying lap that was. Truly spectacular. Now, can he deliver the same type of performance tomorrow? I, for one, cannot wait to find out.
So as you can see from qualifying, it's Fernando Alonso who's on pole, so that's ourselves, then 2 Mercedes, so Hamilton followed by Rosberg, then it's Raikkonen and Vettel, so 2 Ferraris, then 2 Williams, with Ricciardo following on, Grosjean 9th, Nasser 10th, Verstappen 11th, Hulkenberg 12th, Sainz 13th, Button, our teammate 14th, which was pretty close actually between him and Sainz, Maldonado 15th, Perez at his home race, unfortunately down in 16th position, so not a great qualifying for him. Marcus Ericsson 17th, Danny Clear 18th, again struggling with that Red Bull, and the last two, you know, obviously the 2 manners rounding out the back row of the grid. Mexico is going to be one of them races that hopefully we can do well. Obviously the straight line deficit is not going to help us in any cases whatsoever. We're going to have to try our best. The championship rests on this race for Fernando anyway. Obviously Vettel wants to try and gain some benefits of it, but now hand you over to the race.
The crowd are ready for today's action, and we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for the race win. It's time for the Mexican Grand Prix. It was a wonderful performance from Fernando Alonso yesterday to take pole, and he'll be hoping that the performance advantage he held in qualifying will now translate into race pace. If it does, then a win or at least a podium place should be possible today.
He has clean air in front of him, so we'll be hoping he can create a gap over the first few laps. If the cars in 2nd and 3rd can keep close until the first round of pit stops, then they may be able to take advantage on the undercut.
Fernando Alonso is 1 race victory away from securing his 3rd world title, but Fernando won't be taking anything for granted after having other world titles slip through his fingers. Only Sterling Moss and Alain Prost have finished runner-up more times than him, and he certainly won't want that fate once more.
We've almost run out of superlatives for him. Winning 1 world championship is an amazing feat. To keep the hunger to come back and win more, that's what separates the truly great drivers.
Okay, so it's race time for the Mexican Grand Prix. So we quickly load our setup, which is what we usually do. Just quickly load that. And obviously, going on to the race strategy, we can't select the prime tyres, hence why I've immediately clicked the option tyre. Obviously, that glitch is still there, you know, forthgoing, but hopefully things will improve as time goes on. But here's to that. I'll hand you over to the start of the grid. Start the race. So we're revving up to 5 red lights here at Mexico. It's lights out and away we go. We got a pretty decent start as per usual. However, Mercedes always get a better start, but the two Mercedes actually gliding past us, and this is going to be an interesting first turn, as I think Raikkonen and Bottas are actually next to us. You can't see them, they're off shot, but there's Raikkonen, I think. Squeeze his way up the inside of Rosberg. However, obviously we're going to have to drop back. We've still got Bottas on our right hand side. It's like glance to the right hand side in a minute. As you can see, he's right there. So he is going to try to get past us, and obviously with that straight line speed that he's got and the power of that Mercedes power unit, he's able to get past us. However, we actually are going to try and we're going to take 4th place back off Bottas, so thankfully. But as you can see, Raikkonen and Rosberg up ahead are fighting out for 2nd place, and Raikkonen's managed to get ahead of Rosberg, so that's quite surprising. However, this middle sector, as I said, the AI issues are pretty decent, but I think we gain in the next 2 corners here. So see Rosberg's going, he's not got as much speed as us, but we're going to go into this right hander, and as I said, we're quite good on the brakes. As you can see, Rosberg going quite wide, leaving us the room, but yeah, we're up into 3rd place, and we're still on lap 1 by the way. Raikkonen's up next, and obviously no DRS as of yet. We actually closed right up to the back of Raikkonen, like literally right up to his back of his gearbox. And as you see, no DRS, but we are in the slipstream of Kimi Raikkonen. We're actually at our last purple sector, so that's pretty good. Good news, I mean, you know. So see, we're going to go to the right. I'm going to go down the inside of Kimi Raikkonen, who's in his Ferrari. He goes wide and gives us the space. However, I think that's going to give Rosberg the space. We tried to catch Hamilton up, but to no avail. The gap was steadying at around 2 seconds, and it closed to around 3. When I went in on my pit lap, as you can see, the gap's actually going to be a bit bigger now. Yeah, 4 seconds, but I said we're going to come in for our 1 and only pit stop, which is onto the white wall prime tyres. I believe the full race distance is, for 100%, I believe it's like 62 laps of this. I'm not sure, or 68 laps, I'm not sure. But it's a pretty damn long race. It's longer than Monza, and you think, well, with the size and distance of that track, you think that this one's been a lot longer. You exit out the pit lane, and you'll notice that 2 cars go past us. Perez is one of them, and obviously our teammate Jenson Button. So we need to get past these 2 guys, because obviously they haven't stopped yet, and obviously they're going to start holding us up, because obviously the tyres are a lot more gone off. We're on fresh tyres, obviously we're on the harder ones, but even though our tyres are cold, we can still, you know, we still got the opportunity to catch them up. And just to note, whilst we're trying to get past our teammate Button here, is I think we nudge him in a minute. We're going to try and go down his inside this double right hander, and we actually managed to get up into 6th position. But next up is obviously Sergio Perez. And like I was saying, Mercedes actually double stacked on this lap, so when I went past the pit wall, they double stacked, so obviously Rosberg lost a lot of time. However, Hamilton still came out in the lead. As we go round the outside of Perez and holding it neck and neck, we managed to take 5th place off Sergio Perez. Moving on to lap 9 though, this is where the fighting for the lead really starts. There's only a few times where it happens, but then I think it's this lap and next where the fight happens. It's exactly the same for both laps. We go down Hamilton's inside there, but coming on to lap 10, so the end of that lap, literally a few corners later, of course DRS has been enabled a long time by now. As you can see from the proximity arrows, and in our rearview mirror, Hamilton's going to glide past us with that DRS wide open. Going into the first car, we tried to get the position back by going around his outside. We actually clip his rear fin. Got to call it that, his rear spoiler. But look, thankfully, you know, no damage was done, and he draws away with the DRS. Again on lap 10, coming through that sector where we were on the lap before when we made the move. We do it yet again, go down his inside and make the move stick, and yet again coming on to lap 11 this time. Again, he's got DRS, we haven't, so we're a sitting duck in a straight line. And as you can see from the proximity arrows at the bottom now, he's going to go round the right hand side again. However, going into the braking zone, we're actually going to go keep it around the outside. He's going to stick to the inside line. We actually keep the lead of the race, and I'm not kidding, nothing else happened. That's it, that was all what happened. We managed to fend off Hamilton, and it was a pretty decent race for what it's worth. But I think, can you hear it? I can hear something. It's on its way. It's a big roar. Fernando Alonso is going to win the Mexican Grand Prix, and with it his 3rd World Championship title. Oh, what a drive from Fernando. And now in the glory of it all, he can celebrate with whatever he wants to do. That involves doing donuts, just like Lewis Hamilton in 2014. Fernando Alonso is a 3-time world champion.
What a weekend it's been, and what a weekend for Fernando Alonso. He's managed to win here today, which has secured him the Drivers' World Championship title. A fantastic result for a fantastic driver.
Fernando is one of those drivers that's always got a chance at winning the title. Fortunately for him, this year he's had the car to achieve that goal.
That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.
So, there are the results from the Mexican Grand Prix. As David Croft said, he wasn't expecting something to happen, but Fernando Alonso winning his third title is a dream come true for Fernando, of course. In the end, it was only 2.249 seconds between ourselves and Hamilton. Mainly because on the last lap I had to back off due to I had no fuel left and my tyres were going off. They're completely shot, so there's that. Rosberg, of course, third, Vettel fourth, so 2 Ferraris fourth and fifth, then the 2 Williams, the Red Bull of Ricciardo 8th, Grosjean 9th. Verstappen actually moved up into the points in 10th. Unfortunately, our teammate Jenson Button moved down to 16th, and as you can see at the bottom, Max Ericsson, he actually got lapped and he was dead last. I think he must have had an accident. Obviously, the 2 Monos finishing dead last, apart from obviously Max Ericsson. Danny Clear actually moved up, mainly because Ericsson moved down, Maldonado didn't move, and Perez came 14th in the end. And as for the incidents, it was just us getting the corner cutting warning on lap 3. Apart from that, though, that was about it. But as for the Drivers' Championship, as you can see, we now lead by 82 points. And as you can see, for second place, it's going to be a scrap, a good one, as it's 240 points apiece for Rosberg and Vettel, which means it's all to play for second place. But let's not count Raikkonen and Hamilton out, because they're not far behind. Bottas is in pretty much in a league zone on his own, in 6th place, so I don't think anyone will catch him. There's a fight between Massa and Ricciardo. You see 4 points only separated the 2. Then it's a big gap, that 30-point gap down to Grosjean 9th, Verstappen's 10th. Then it's 17 points for Hulkenberg and 16 for our teammate Jenson Button. So that could be one to watch come the next 2 races, because Button may score more points than Hulkenberg, or Hulkenberg could score points and pull away, and yada yada yada. Danny Clear and Nazar are still tied on points sites, and Maldonado still got 1 point each. They haven't scored all season apart from 1 race. I don't remember which ones they did. Obviously, we've still got Ericsson and Perez yet to score points, and of course the 2 Manam rushes. As for constructors, nobody's moved, but the gap's closed between Ferrari and Mercedes. We're going to be, it looks like we'll be sticking for 3rd, but we still need points to keep our spot there. Williams is still 4th, then it's a big gap down to Red Bull in 5th, Lotus is still 6th, then it's Toro Rosso 7th, Force India 8th, Sauber 9th and Manor Russia 10th. And obviously Sauber and Force India haven't scored any points in a while, so that'll be an interesting fight to see who can score points out of those 2 teams. I don't think Manor are going to score points at all for the next 2 races, because Brazil's quite a decent track, although I don't think it'll fit the Manor Russia with its slow speed and everything. It's got that 1 straight, obviously, which goes on the back end and all that. And of course, we have the the Abu Dhabi one again. They won't suit Manor Russia, so I don't think they'll be able to score any more points this season. As for us, well, we could be top of the world. As you can see, this is the start. We actually went 3 wide with Rosberg and Hamilton. It was a 3 wide behind us. The 2 Ferraris with, I think it was Bottas in between. Oh, looks it, yeah, fell through Bottas in between. So obviously everybody squeezed into that first corner, which wasn't bad. But I want to know, as you can see from the constructors, it's a title. So who do you think will win the constructors title? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think it'll be Team Mercedes or Team Ferrari? As it says on the screen, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to do that. I want to see what you guys think will win. I personally think it'll be Ferrari because they've been top of the championship, but the tables could turn the next 2 races, so we never know. But as for next time, I've been Viper Racing, you guys have been awesome. I'll see you guys in Sao Paulo for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Ta-ra!